Hey guys, back with another video. We're going to talk about self-image a little bit. You guys can get online and punch in scientific studies about self-image. They know, without a doubt, you are where you are in your life with the results you're getting because of your self-image. It's not because you're held back. It's not because you haven't had an opportunity. It's not because you were born on one side of the tracks. That has nothing to do with anything. Being born on the one side of the tracks has something to do with something because you were programmed by the people you were with and around. That's what's really going on, right? From the last trimester till you were 7, you didn't have a conscious mind. You only had the subconscious mind, which is in theta, which is hypnosis. All information that comes in is downloaded into you. And once you hit play, it can get you through life, right? You'll know enough to have a job, because in our society you don't need to know much to have a halfway decent job, right? Our society is set up so that the weak can live, and that's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that, but I want you to start understanding and growing and thinking and move on past the bottom where it's not as much fun, right? You can never outpicture your self-image. And so you've written down a lot of things by now if you've been watching and doing some of the things I've asked. So you're very aware of how you feel about yourself, right? Whether you have issues with the way you look or the way you act or your money or all of that, right? So we're setting these goals. You have to change your self-image to get to that goal. It has to be done. There's no other way you can do it. You have to change. And if you're willing to change, everything will change for you. But you have to change yourself. And so I've given you guys tools and read things, and I've talked about numerous things on how to do all of these things, right? You need to reprogram your subconscious mind. And I'm asking you to do it through repetition, right? Self-suggestion, law of command, whatever you want to call it. You have to find these affirmations and find ones you believe. This is extremely important. And say them over and 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 over again. And release these patterns that are in you. I don't want this anymore. I don't accept this anymore. I don't want to feel ugly. I don't want to feel worthless. I don't want to feel not good enough. I don't want to feel poor. Whatever it is that's really hindering you the most, right? I don't want to be jealous. I don't want to be envy. I don't want to, whatever it is, you should have some sort of an awareness by now. If it says day 91, you should have some sort of an awareness of the kind of things that, some sorts of your self-image. And so I really want you to take action, right? Action doesn't have to be making a phone call or writing a letter or physical actions. They can be spiritual actions, right? You can close your eyes and ask for help. I don't want to feel like this anymore, right? That's an action. You're going to get a reaction. You're going to get a feeling or an idea or something to follow, something to do, right? And but you have to take the action. You have to work on these things. You just have to do it. You have to make it a habit of doing this every day. And it changes your self-image. There's scientific studies done on optimist and pessimist. If you're a pessimist, it is a long, drawn-out, miserable life, full of dis-ease, tragedies. If you don't want to believe me, get online and punch in some scientific reviews, right? Peer-reviewed science. If you're going to be questioning me, I want you to look up peer-reviewed science. Not scientists that are getting a big lump of money from these corporations with an already predetermined outcome of what this corporation is expecting them to say because they've given them all this money. I want peer-reviewed. 300 scientists have to come to the same conclusion with no bias. Those are the kind of studies I want you to be finding and reading. Your mind will be blown. They know how we could be the most amazing things in the world, but we're being suppressed from that information. And so if you don't, they're not going to teach it at school. They're not going to teach it at a university. They're not going to teach it at your job. It's on you to figure it out and become obsessed with, if nothing else, who am I and why am I the way I am? If you just asked those two questions with a sense of urgency and a sense of a burning desire to know the answers, your life will be drastically different, because you'll start gathering the information that you need and the understanding through these studies, right? But if you don't want to take time to do all of that, then you can do what I'm suggesting, which was suggested to me, which was suggested to the people that taught me and suggested to the people that taught them down through the ages of the truth, right? There's people that get plastic surgery and their self-image doesn't change, even though the scar or the nose job or whatever it is was done, their self-image doesn't change. And there's some people, they get plastic surgery and their self-image changes. This is how they figured out we had a self-image, was through plastic surgery. How is it possible that they still see that scar? How is it possible that they still see a nose that they don't want to see anymore, even though it's been changed? How are they still seeing a small lip when they wanted a big fat lip and they got the big fat lip through surgery, but they're still seeing the thin, small? Guys, you really have to start asking yourselves these questions. It's because of your self-image, and it stems from all of the programming that was downloaded into you by the time you were 7. You could program a kid till he's 7, and you'll know what kind of man he's going to be, without a doubt. You'll know if he's going to be rich, poor, medium, angry, not angry. You can put all of that into them, right? So if you have kids, it's very apparent that you learn this information and you start understanding how to program your children to have limitless expectations in life, to love themselves no matter what. You need to be telling them all the time how amazing they are, how wonderful they are, how they can do anything, how they're so special, how they, right? I didn't have any of this information when I was raising my kids. Now, my kids are, most of them are young adults, and I'm reprogramming them, right? If you have young kids, you can you can program them and let them go, and they'll be amazing, successful, wonderful people in society. Right? I didn't know any of that. And it all has to do with your self-image. I really want you guys, we got to keep hammering on the self-image, right? And one thing that I do is the mirror technique that Louise Hay taught me is you look in the mirror in your eyes and you say, I love you. I really, really love you just the way you are. And if you want it to be more powerful, say your name. And in the beginning, it's going to feel icky because we don't love ourselves. And if I only had one thing to get you to change, and it was the only one thing you were willing to do, it would be to love yourself. So much stems off of that, right? How can you be in a committed relationship? How can you receive love if you don't love yourself, right? This is all scientifically proven. You just can't. The divorce rate's at 50%. Most people, they've done studies, 60% or more in these studies, people just don't love themselves. That's a high number. That is extremely high. 70% of people walking around, 60 to 70 to 80% of people walking around don't love themselves. How is that possible? Well, it has to be through programming. Whether that's the government, the country, the consciousness, your parents, all of it. School, just think about it. Work on your self-image. Reach out. Like and subscribe. Ask questions. I'm here to answer. This 90 days, I need you guys to make a committed decision that you're going to ask at least one question, right? So that we can start building a relationship, and I can start helping you understand some of these things more in depth. So self-image, look it up if you don't, right? We have to change our self-image. And the quickest and easiest and fastest way I've found to do it is through affirmations and mirror work. All right, guys, thank you. Like and subscribe. Have a great day. Bye.